Is what true or not?
Is it true or not? Well, this is the thought. We're talking about Miles Monroe. This is a recap talking about Miles Monroe. Miles Monroe has this dream before he dies. He has this dream about a dead man, a prominent runner being in the casket with a baton. And instead of passing it off before he dies, the young generation has to come to the casket and literally pry it out of the hands of a dead man, because symbolism is, instead of him preparing a successor to take the baton, we have a young generation that's trying to be aggressive because they want to take it to another level. They want to go higher. They take the baton. They're trying to pry it out of a dead man's hand instead of the dead man giving it up. And this is right before he gets killed in his plane crash yesterday, 2 days ago. So what do you think about that? You think that's true? You think that's not? Do you think that the generation ahead of us is holding too tightly to the positions and preparing us? Or do you think that we're ready to even take the baton? Are you in a position to take the baton? If something were to happen to our pastors, would you be in a position? Would you be in a position?
I'm not, but Kojo is.
To take. He's gonna like that you said that. Yeah, right, that's a joke. He's gonna like that you said that. What do you think? Are you ready? Would you, if something were to happen to our pastors, just like Dr. Miles Monroe? And let me tell you, this is an aside, and what's eerie is right before they got on the plane, you see the photo? They made everybody, hey, can we get a picture? And everybody who was on the plane stood in front of the plane smiling, taking a picture. All 9 souls, not knowing that when they boarded the plane, that was going to be the last picture. They got the whole, got all 9 of them in a row right before they died. Most people don't say, hey, before you climb on a picture, climb on a plane, can we take a picture? Okay. And they all take a picture. And then that's the last memory we'll have of them, is this picture of 9 souls before they perish. So let me ask you that. Do you think it's true? Give me your thoughts. I want to hear your thoughts, because then I'm going to tell you what the Bible says. It's not going to be a long class tonight, but we really do need to think about what's going to happen very soon in the future. You should be preparing to take your place in the kingdom. You're in the kingdom, but preparing to take your place in your theme in the kingdom. You should be ready for that, because it's time out for us being sloppy and lazy and half in, half out. We have to figure out what's going to happen in the event that something like this that happened to Bahama Faith Ministries. What if that happened to Ridgley Ministries, Church of God in Christ?
I think that the people that's like on the stage and stuff should take that. Like, if you're not participating, you can't really say anything because you don't do anything.
Okay. So you should already be actively doing something, pretty much, before you expect to do, before you be. What do you think? Tell me what you think. What are your thoughts? I really want to hear, because you're there now.
Just which question did you pose?
Either one.
Okay.
Either one.
I guess the deacons. I think the deacons and elders, like what Jade said. I mean, they're already supposed to be active in the church and leadership.
That's right.
They should be prepared.
They should.
That's what they're there for, to assist the pastor.
That's right. That's right. But even the deacons and elders are older. What about you? Are you ready? Look, you're coming on down the chain. And that's logical. You know what I'm saying? That's logical. But what if it happens? And we really need to have this discussion, because you're the fresh legs, you're the fresh blood that's coming in. You know, are you fully in the kingdom? I guess would be the first question. Because whoever needs to prepare to step in the role, I'm not saying you got to step in to be the pastor, but whoever does, if it's a deacon, if it's an elder, if they step in the position, y'all still got to be the support, because then you slide into their place.
You got to be ready to backfill.
You hear what I'm saying? Straight up.
Yeah, but it's going to be too strong for her.
Right.
It's spicy.
You see, so in the event that something happens and the next tier does go up to leadership, where are you? Because then if there's no support for the person who just fell into a role, and I say fell in, but God does all things well, next person who takes the spot, that woman, that man, that whoever is going to need somebody to hold their arms up. So what happens next? Where do you fit into this? Yes.
I think you just hit it, and what these two ladies had expressed. To answer your first question, I think that you posed, as far as does that actually happen now? I think absolutely, but everybody's not like that. So there are people, because they're position minded. I know it sounds so churchy, but because they're position minded and not kingdom minded, the position is all they have. So their willingness to share and to to teach others and to create disciples is very slim to none. But we have, we have leaders such as Mother Russell and Pastor who are like, yo, we want you to thrive, and we want you to learn and move up and to walk in your calling. Right. So I think you have two ends of that. I guess for me to speak from me, and where God will have me being co-pastor's adjutant. If something was to say happen to co-pastor, I ain't ready to be nobody's co-pastor. You know what I mean? That's not where I am. To kind of piggyback off of what you were saying, and what you just mentioned, I understand my role right now is to learn all that I can learn and help support the ministry in Africa. So not to wait for something to happen to her, but to help lift her, help lift the burden off of her. But if something were to happen to her, I believe that I'm in a position and have connected myself with her enough to know how to operate and to carry on the African ministry if I had to.
So you're like Joshua to her Moses? Are you there to lift her arms up when she goes?
Kinda. And it's not me putting myself,
No.
But because I really had this talk with God recently. Like, God, I need you to show me my purpose in everything. Like, I don't want to just, be co-pastor's adjutant. I don't want to just be, whatever, acquirement, whatever. I need you to show me why I'm doing what I'm doing. Because if it's not lined up for your purpose for my life, then there's no point in me doing it. There's somebody else can come along and do it. And he's shown me my purpose. And there's things that I'm supposed to obtain and learn from her as far as ministry is concerned. Even in my involvement with, like I said, with Africa. I realized my purpose behind it. But I also realized that co-pastor is 70. So there are things that, whether I'm the person to carry Africa on or it's her administrator in Georgia, at this point in time right now, I'm there to, one, support the ministry, but two, help lift whatever burden that she might have during the process.
What's your part? Are you in? Russell preached at House of Prayer. He preached, are you all in? Are you all in? Are you all in? Because what happens if we are not living? Maybe I ask you. If somebody's not living for God, what are they living for? Themselves. Tell me about that. What does that mean? Tell me what that means. Spell it out. If you're not living for God, what are you living for? If you're living for yourself, what does that mean? Let's just put it out there, because we need to know where we are, because I believe that very soon there's going to be a day of reckoning where we're going to have to answer. So we need to whatever we're going to do, we better have our answers now, right? Right? You better have your answers now. There is going to be a day where you're going to have to reconcile what the Bible says and what you live. There's going to come a day where you got to bring them together and measure. This is the ruler, and you're going to be measured. Either you're going to be what it's supposed to be, or you're going to be shorter. So if you're not living for God and we're living for self, what does it mean to live for self? That's a good point. You make this a good point. What if you're living for self? What does that mean? Describe that person who lives for themselves.
They do what they want when they want to do it.
Okay.
You want to slap your chick on the train, you do it.
So what is that? I don't want to put it in your slap your chick on the train.
You ever see that video?
She's like,
That these girls picking on this retarded guy.
He smacked her.
And one of them gets in his face and she slaps him. And there's a couple of edits of the video where one edit, they pause it.
And he be like, nigga, really?
And he holds back and slaps the mess out of her. And then you ever play Sonic the Hedgehog where the coins come out when something happens? The coins come out. Oh, God.
And the guy wasn't even looking at
Well,
her.
but see now look. So you're saying somebody who wants to do what I saw a similar video, but it wasn't with that. It was this girl who had a hood on her face and she was picking on this other woman. She was like bullying her, and the girl sitting on the train holding the pole, and the girl with the hood on is like, "What are you doing?" She's on her face like messing with her. What this black girl gets?
I ain't see it.
She like this big. She said, "Nah, you wanna fight somebody?" And she, when I tell you, she punched this girl in the head like 10 consecutive times. And the girl hood come off, and, her long hair falls down because she was Asian or something. So I don't even know why she tried it. But I had her pinned up on the door. I know she was waiting for boom, boom. Like, she was getting up. She was like, "Nah." She was telling her, "No, she want to hit somebody. Hit me." And she was like, she just went on her, and the girl like coming off, and she trying to hold her. She's like, "Wait a minute, wait." So people were talking to her. So the girl who she was bullying is sitting like this. And I'm like, see, that's what you get. But the girl, she just got out of nowhere. Now there's somebody living for self. Somebody who is like, you know what? I think I'm just gonna terrorize this person on. But this is somebody who is lawless. No control until you got that butt whoop. No control and lawless. Absolutely. So that means you're gonna do lawless. You're gonna do whatever you want to do. That's one way people live for self. I'll never forget that. She had to be in the WNBA. She had to be like, when she threw
That's like the video we just saw.
She was a boxer.
She was a boxer. Just because she was 6'6", she got knocked out.
It was like you picked the wrong day to try to be hard, because that girl went down. But when the hood came off and the long silky Asian hair came out, I said, "You should have been there. You tried to be hard," and she did. She got that spank down right on the. And everybody was like, "No, just leave it alone." She was like, "No, you want to fight? No, I said, "Oh, so that's totally lawless, doing what she wasn't doing right." So lawless, no control. What else? Tell me a person who lives for self.
What is it?
A person who lives for
all the
self.
stuff. It's like
You.
bigger incontinent.
Really stuck again.
It runs down the list of all the.
Tell me what are
It's like
you
in
living
Hebrews.
for? What are you living for? Because you're living for somebody or something. What are you living for? You're living for self. What does living for self look like? We got lawless criminals. I wake up praying for criminals every day, Lord. People who don't follow the rules, people who don't have any restraint. Tell me somebody who lives for self. We all know those people, right?
Chipotle.
What?
Tell me about Chipotle.
They always be
They be skipping my steak, and that's not cool.
They don't give extra.
That's not cool. Don't skip my steak. Like,
They do.
Chipotle.
You got eggs. They be stingy with the rice.
One time I did this thing, it was pink in the inside. They didn't cook it. I had to do it all again. I was so mad.
that'd be so sad.
That's good for you though.
I don't do no red. No blood for me. I don't want blood. That's another story.
Exactly.
So tell me, y'all tell me, y'all don't know anybody who lives for self?
They're selfish.
Selfish. What does that mean? Tell me what type of selfish thing does a person do?
Suicide.
That is selfish.
Yeah, that is selfish.
It's super. Why do you say that?
That's not
I
selfish.
remember your husband preached about that one time.
Real talk.
That's ridiculous.
Real talk. Why do you say that? Because I had a big debate online with somebody about that. Because they were like, you don't know that person's mind. You don't know the pressure they're under. You don't know, and God understands. He
Was
knows
it
how
talking
much
about that
you bear.
Maynard girl?
Huh?
Oh yeah, your friend.
That is not my friend.
Your friend.
I don't know her, and I don't listen to
People about to
her.
decide to take their own life.
Suicide.
She killed herself in the bed that her and her husband bought, and after they bought the new house.
And then-
That's selfish.
The day after her husband's birthday?
The day after her husband's birthday.
In their arms, in her husband's arms.
That's selfish.
I left her right there.
So this is a
I love
woman
her
who's dying. She
right
has
there.
brain cancer. It's a big debate. These are the things that you need to know, because somebody might say it was a mercy
Mercy
killing.
killing, yeah.
You know what I mean? That when somebody she has an inoperable brain tumor, she has brain cancer. and she's having seizures, and the seizures are getting longer, and she's going through all these changes, and she's having these migraine headaches that won't stop, and she decides, I'm going to move to another state that allows me to take a pill to kill myself legally. The doctors can't give it to me, but I can administer it. And when they,
she moved to Oregon.
and she said, first it was supposed to be November 1st, and then she said, no, I'm gonna wait a little while. And then she decided that she was gonna take it. She put it in her mouth, and she let them hold her, and she went on into where she was
the
going.
day after your husband's birthday.
Yeah, so
like that?
and but the doctors, they can prescribe it,
They can't give it
but they
to you.
can't like give it to you.
You have to take it yourself.
You take it and put it in your
But they
whole
can
mouth.
prescribe it.
Right, but they can prescribe it. So, but then some people might call that a mercy
Yeah,
pill.
that's the same thing.
You call that selfish? Tell me why you call that selfish.
I'm gonna tell you why I
I'm
call
gonna
it
live with
selfish.
myself. Why?
I'm gonna tell you why I call that in particular selfish.
All right.
Okay. If you recall, 2 years ago, I was on dialysis. Okay.
Right. That's
Okay. I was like swelling, like I looked like I was about to have triplets. Like it was ridiculous. Like I was swelling and all that. And there was a point in time where the doctor told me I wasn't gonna be able to get a kidney, and I was gonna be on dialysis the rest of my life. I was getting migraines, just like that little girl.
Right.
All that.
She was like 29 years old.
I don't care. And I was like 16. So what? So then once I got a little better, they had me go talk to this 4-year-old boy who had just been diagnosed with my same condition. He did not understand it. He kept actually ripping out his IVs because he wanted to go home and play with his toys. That is literally what he told me. He said, I want to go home and play with my toys. I don't want to sit here and let them give me the stuff that makes me sick. I got Transformers to play with. That's what he kept telling me. I got Transformers to play with.
I got business.
So when I was talking to this one about the girl, he told me, well, if that was me, I can't say I really think any differently. And I said, if a 4-year-old boy told me he got Transformers to play with, he ain't even worried about being sick.
Wow.
As sick as he was,
Being sick is.
got Transformers to play with. If I knew, like
Caillou, you think he got a cold?
Caillou do not have no cold.
No, you're not in the thing.
Don't get me started with Caillou.
But this woman,
It's like that was ridiculously selfish. Like,
Conversation
but the
took
girl with the
you.
pill is saying, but she's saying, you guys are saying what
It
she
took
was
a whole-
selfish.
We bring it back.
Kai, you not
When I
even
read the article,
be rapping. Like, but no, it's like, okay, so today I went to the doctor. The doctor told me I had 1 or 2 things going on because I get migraines consistently. I have one right now. I'm just talking through it.
Right.
But they told me 1 of 2 things. I could either have nothing or a very serious brain infection because I do have an impaired immune system. So they got to do a whole entire spinal tap, which I'm not really happy about, but whatever. But my thing is, like, I would, even if I was like that kind of sick, I would do everything I could to,
Why
even
would
if
you
they
do
told
that?
me that.
Why?
Because I got a mama and she cry a lot for real, and I'm not trying to make her cry. Like, I would feel terrible if I made her cry. Yeah, I'd be dead, but I'd feel terrible if I made her cry. I would not want
but
to
you know
make
you're
that
going
decision.
to die. You know you're going to die.
That's fine.
You know you're going
That's
to die.
fine, but I wouldn't kill myself because she would feel like that's on her. I wouldn't do that. You know your sister. She would feel like that's on her. And that is the very thing that I'm saying. You don't have a mama? You don't have somebody that care
But
about
her
you?
mom,
Her mother's
the
alive.
mother, and the mother said, I can't tell her how to live her lifestyle. I shouldn't be able. I'm not able to tell her how to end it. That's what the mother.
She won't end up
said.
crying.
But
She gonna be blaming
She already
herself.
dead.
But
She don't blame
here's the
herself.
situation. Now, she also said there was a time when we all believed for a miracle, and it didn't happen.
And that's why I think she lost.
And then she said, then we started looking at the possibility of maybe somebody coming up with a cure, and it wasn't in the future. Nobody wanted me to suffer. And the one thing I can say, even though people don't want me to die, she said, the one thing I know is that nobody in the room, when we talked about it, wanted me to suffer. So they all agreed with me taking my life.
She got her own little opinion.
Right. That's what she said. So, and it's like, people
That's
step back,
ridiculous.
and it's a big debate. I mean,
That's
I know at
ridiculous.
Howard University in ethics class, they're ripping it a lot, you know, because they're like, do you assist somebody like that as a physician in the School of Medicine? Do you help somebody do that, or do you take a stand? And if you take a stand, because we take an oath,
The Hippocratic oath is do no harm.
non-malfeasance mean right, do no harm, and
So,
you gotta make sure
killing
that you
people is the
doing
ultimate
everything.
harm, though.
Right.
It would get more harmful than taking somebody's life.
Jackson did?
Huh?
Didn't he like pay his doctor to give him?
But that's
That's an accident.
It's alleged.
I was about to say, that's a whole lot
Well,
of
Yeah,
argument
Michael
right
could have
there.
just shot his own self up for real
If he wanted
if
to.
he wanted to.
Well, this is the thing. Yeah, that wasn't supposed to happen. Him checking out.
Yeah, that was an accident.
That was an accident.
Yeah, he was just trying to.
Yeah, and that's why his doctor went to jail, because you're not supposed to do any harm. You're not supposed to knowingly
Yeah.
harm somebody. But somebody might call it what she did selfishness. Somebody might, on the other side of the fence might say, no, we don't want her to suffer. But a person who lives for self doesn't consider everybody else.
Right.
That's true.
You don't consider everybody else. So what are you living for? Because if you are supposed to take, if you are supposed to be living for God and you're not living for God, then what are you living for? That's the question. What are you living for? Okay, I'm living for self. What happens after that? What happens after that?
You do you.
You know, while you're doing you, define doing you. What is doing you? I know it's no control, lawless, and selfish, but that sounds like doing you is selfish. What else? Tell me a person who lives for self. We got to talk about it, because God is expecting everybody in this room to step into a certain role.
Careless.
Describe it.
They don't care about the consequences or the repercussions. They don't. It's kind of like a live in the moment kind of thing.
So, okay, I agree. Somebody who's reckless.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen those guys on the motorcycles?
Yeah. That's real cool.
And they come flying and weaving in.
Oh,
And then they be
those
right
guys.
outside of Maryland with their limbs like this.
Right here. They do. Yeah. You know, but I saw